Hello everybody, welcome back to another Dawnbreakers video. So today we'll be featuring the Shadow Paladins from the new series of the VBTO2 AL4. So yeah, today we'll be going over the Phantom Blaster Dragons deck. So yeah, starting off, your imaginary gift is the Force Marker, and your starter is this guy from the trial deck. So it's just regular starter as always. Just right when it's rolled upon, just draw a card. So yeah. Alright, starting off with my grade 3s, we run 4 Phantom Blaster Dragons. So this is initially your second ride, because your first ride can either be one guy that Soul Blast 1, check top card, or the Dark Dictator. So yeah. Alright, Phantom Blaster has a 13k base, and the first skill is you may Counter Blast 1, sack 3 of your units, choose 3 of your own units and retire them, and your opponent chooses 3 of their units to retire them. So this unit gains a 15k boost and 1 crit. For the second skill, once per turn, you may Soul Blast 1 grade 3 out of your soul, and if your opponent has no rear guards, that's the condition, and your opponent does not have 5 damage. So this is a 1, 2, 3 damage count, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 4. So if they're at 4, you can still use the skill, provided that they do not have a rear guard on the field. So yeah, your opponent takes 1 damage, and if it's a trigger, the trigger will take effect. So yeah. Alright, moving on to second grade 3. So we have the Dark Dictator. So if Blaster Darks in the soul, this unit gains 2k. Once per turn, you may Counter Blast 1, and you may call a card from your hand. If so, you may Counter Blast 1, you call one out, your opponent chooses 1 to sack, and that unit you called out gains a additional 5k boost. So yeah, run 3 of Dark Dictator. Well, it's initially your first ride, so yeah. Alright, for my last grade 3, I run 1 copy of this. Once per turn, you may Soul Blast 1, check the top card of your deck. It's a Vanguard and Rearguard skill, check the top card of your deck. Either place it on the rearguard circle or place it in the drop zone. And if you actually caught the unit that you checked, which you should, that unit gains a 5k boost but has to die at the end of the turn. So yeah, you can actually combo this off with the Phantom Blaster Dragon skill. But I don't really run too much copies of that because I don't want to flood my grade 3s. Right, moving on to grade 2s, have 4 Blaster Dark. It's a 10k base. So yeah, when it's rolled upon or called upon, you may Counter Blast 1, your opponent chooses 1 unit to sack. Alright, once per turn, this is actually it's a once per turn on your Vanguard Circle skill, which when you're on the grade 2 ride. So this is initially your grade 2 ride. So yeah, you may drop a card from your hand if your opponent has no rear guards, and you gain Twin Drive. So yeah, 4 copies of this. Next up, we have 4 copies of Matcha. Matcha skill, once per turn, you may Counter Blast 1, call 1 unit from your hand onto the rearguard circle. If so, you actually draw a card, and that unit gains a 5k boost. Well, this combos with Charon, so get to that in a while. Alright, last but not least, for my grade 2, run 3 of this dude. Alright, so for every rearguard you have more than your opponent, if you have 4 rearguards, so it gains 3k power. But if let's say your opponent has 2 rearguards compared to your 3 rearguards, it gains an additional 3k boost. So yeah. So if your opponent has an empty field and you have like a full field, so it gains an additional 15k power. So it's not that broken. Alright, run 3 copies of that. Alright, moving on to grade 1s, run 4 copies of Namian. So once per turn, you may rest this unit, search your deck for up to 1 unit with 5k, and call it to your rearguard circle. And you may only activate this ability once per turn. Even if you have like 3 of this on the field, you can tap 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 tap. So yeah. Right, what this does is actually it gives you a free card to actually sack for your Phantom Blaster Dragon. So that's one of the reasons why you play this card and why this card is so important in the deck, because you don't want to be sacking your own triggers and things like that which are important on your field. So Namian is one of those which can actually help you filter out your deck and actually gain a +1. So yeah. Right, moving on. Run 4, Charon. Skill, it's a rearguard skill. When placed from a unit's ability, Soul Blast 1, you may counter charge 1 and this unit gains 3k. So yeah, you combo this off with Matcha. Alright, next up. Right, 4 copies of Javelin. This is, you can run 3 copies of it, you can run 4 copies of it, that's up to you. Skill, when this unit is placed, if you have 1 rearguard which is a grade 1 or less, make counter blast 1 and draw a card. And this unit gains 3k. So yeah, actually Javelin is actually quite flexible, but I like to run 4 of those, so yeah. Alright, last but not least, for grade 1 lineup, we have this Witch from the trial deck. So skill, Soul Blast 1, you may rest this card and choose one of your other units to gain an additional 10k. Well, I run 2 of these because I figured why not, because this Soul Blast 1 and rest this unit, if your opponent's at 5 damage and you already stack your force one side, so why not just gain an additional 10k to one side? So yeah, for 1 Soul Blast, one of your units gain 10k. Alright, last but not least, for triggers, I run 1 copy of you, 4 copies, actually, yeah, 5 copies, 5 draws, 7 crits, and 4 heals. So yeah. Alright, so why I run one of these Howl things from the trial deck, this is a trial deck card, is because if you do not actually have, if you finish your Namians in your deck, you can actually call one of these draw triggers, because you don't want to call out like your crits or your heals, so you also don't want to call out your PG draws, so just call out this if you really need to sack one. So yeah, right, so just gonna talk about the deck a little bit, so just bear with me. So if you have this on your field, well, you're gonna have your Namians on the field too. Okay, let's say not. Okay, that's okay, I guess. Alright, so you have Matcha. You can actually counter blast 1, call 1 card, which is Karen, alright, whatever his name is. Just draw a card. Okay, draw a card. Skill, Soul Blast 1. Okay, Soul Blast 1. Counter charge 1. So this is like a free 1 card from to your hand, and you get a free flip. So yeah, and Namian, if you actually finish off your Namians, well, Namians are actually quite important in your deck. So let's say you sack 3 of this, so Phantom Blast Dragon skill, and tap. GK card. Yeah, you just tap and just find your haul. Yeah, there you go. You don't want to call a crit. So yeah. Right, so this is what I'm gonna be using for WGP, which is happening on Sunday, which is tomorrow, from what time I'm uploading this, because I'm recording this in the night. So yeah. Alright, so one more thing to note about WGP is you have to print out this deck recipe registration form. You gotta fill in. Well, you can ignore the G zone because you just need to fill in your cards, like every single name of your card. So yeah, you gotta fill it in. Make sure you write your country, your name, your full name, and your clan. Well, you gotta write it as neat as possible, so I'll leave the link in the description if you want to print this registration form out, because you're gonna have to bring your registration. I think they'll give you a registration form if you didn't already printed it out, but you get in faster into the event if you actually have the registration form. So yeah, make sure to write with as neatly as possible, and do remember to bring a few writing materials with you just in case you need to fill in some forms, because on top it says you need to bring your own writing materials there, because they're not gonna provide like thousands of free pens for you guys. So yeah, do check it out. Well, just there to get the promo and the deck case and all that kind of stuff. Can go and check it out. There'll be cosplayers there too. So yeah, I'll just see you guys on Sunday. If you do see me, say hi. Maybe we can have a round or two together. So yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next video, or I'll see you at WGP.